Good afternoon. Today I'm going to tell you information about the adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I hope that you all have a better understanding about the novel when I'm finished. I'll tell you about some background information, brief storyline, major characters, themes found within the novel, and the controversy within the United States with the adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Some background information. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn was written by Mark Twain. Twain was born in Florida, Missouri, and later moved to Hannibal, Missouri, which is much like the town where the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn take place. Twain had many different jobs during his writing career, which drives the many different styles of novels he has written. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is a sequel to Tom Sawyer, which first appears in 1876. This novel was first published in England in 1884 and later in the United States in 1885. It is told in first person by Huckleberry Finn. A brief storyline since we've already all read the story. This starts in fictional St. Petersburg, Missouri, which is based on Hannibal, Missouri, where Mark Twain grew up. Miss Watson and Widow Douglas gain custody of Huck, and they want Huck to go to church and become a more civilized citizen. Huck only stays with them to become part of Tom Sawyer's new gang. Pat Finn, who is Huck's father, kidnaps him and locks him inside their cabin during the day, and when he comes home at night, he is often drunk and frequently beats his own son, Huck. Huck fakes his own death and escapes to an island along the Mississippi River, where he encounters Jim, who is one of Miss Watson's slaves. Much like Huck, Jim is on the run and hiding from authorities. Huck and Jim are forced to leave the island when the Mississippi River floods. They encounter the Duke and his partner, who are con artists, and several scams pass, and they end up selling Jim to a local farmer, saying he is a slave and belongs to them. Tom and Huck conspire a plan to free Jim, and after a few strange events, Jim is now a free man, and Huck decides that he has had enough civilizing, as he would say, and plans to set his trails further west where he can live his life accordingly. Some major characters in Huckleberry Finn. Huckleberry Finn himself. He's the protagonist and the narrator in this novel. Huck Finn has no formal education and often comes to his own conclusions about things in life. Tom Sawyer. Huck's best friend and the main character in Twain's other novels, Tom Sawyer. He often produces wild plans where he ropes Huck into going along with him and always wants things done his way or it's the highway. Widow Douglas and Miss Watson. These are the sisters who decided to adopt Huck, and Miss Watson constantly tries to push religion onto Huck and wants him to become more of a civilized citizen. Widow Douglas is much more patient with Huck and tries to push her beliefs slower than her sister. Jim. Jim is the runaway black slave who belongs to Miss Watson. Huck finds him hiding on the island, and Jim is also very superstitious and is often the victim of Huck's pranks. He becomes a close friend of Huck and Tom during the novel, and acts as a father figure to Huck as they venture down the Mississippi. Jim is also a large part of the theme slavery within this novel. Pat Finn. He's the town drunk and is Huck's father. He locks Huck in the cabin during the day and comes home drunk only to beat his own son. He's much against a formal education and Huck's new lifestyle with the Widow Douglas and Miss Watson. The Duke and the King. These are the con artists who take control of Jim and Huck's raft and later sell Jim to a local farmer. Themes you can find within this novel: racism and slavery, civilized society, religion, and friendship. I'll start off with racism and slavery. Racism and slavery played an important role in this novel, and at the time of this novel's release, the Civil War and Emancipation Proclamation had already passed, yet the South was still struggling with strong racial beliefs. Twain is often criticized by many, saying this novel is racist. Jim's slavery and gradual movement towards freedom is at best only a small part of what the novel is about, said Sanford Pinsker. Civilized society. Throughout this novel, Huck tries to escape the civilized society and mandatory schooling and having to take regular baths and attend church with the widow and her sister. Twain implies that slavery and a civilized society cannot work side by side. We see at the end of the novel that Huck decides to head west to escape the society in which he was living in. Religion. Miss Watson and the widow Douglas are constantly trying to get Huck to church so he can get right with God. Both of the sisters believe it is their duty to get Huck to church and have him become a contributing member of society. Friendship. Jim and Huck spark a great friendship during the novel, and at the beginning, Huck viewed him as just his slave, but throughout he sees Jim as a human being and values their friendship. Huck values the friendship so much that he risks getting in trouble with the authorities for helping a runaway slave. Controversy in the United States. This novel has caused much controversy in the United States. Many lawsuits have been filed concerning the novel. Many of them deal with racial issues within the novel, mainly with the use of the N-word. In 1955, CBS removed all mentions of slavery and portrayed Jim as a white man. And in 1982, Virginia school administrator questioned whether or not it was appropriate to teach the book in United States school systems. And then they raised it to the 11th grade level. And in 1990, the American Library Association said Huckleberry Finn was in the top 5 for most frequently challenged books in the United States to be taken out of schools. In 2009, a Washington teacher said it is time to retire Huck Finn, saying that it is too racist for today's society. And most recently, in 2011, a new edition was published with more appropriate language. These are my works cited. And here's an interesting piece that is from Nauvoo, Missouri. Nauvoo, Missouri is just right up the road from Hannibal and would often be passed by steamboaters just because it's an hour south. I hope that you now have a better understanding of the adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and you can see that it is still a powerful novel, still used today in classes, and is over 130 years old. I believe this novel will be continued to be used in classes, and is on the all-time great list of novels. Thank you for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it.